I wanted to talk more about brainwashing. A lot of people think they haven't been brainwashed. But if you look at the way things are, for example, in maybe USA or Europe, people, something like 90% of people are Christian, and maybe in the Middle East, maybe 90% of the people are Muslim. Now, was that just some kind of coincidence, or were the people brainwashed? Obviously they were brainwashed, and so brainwashing isn't some kind of mysterious, unknown thing. It's a matter of values that have been suggested, put into you, given to you, and it's amazing how suggestible the mind is. You learn these values and accept them, take them on board, and they become your values. And so after you take them on board, then the brainwashing kind of goes on automatically. It's something you do yourself. So it's not always just someone outside of you. You've learned to brainwash yourself by believing certain values. So one of the ways it starts is by the instinct of survival. You're born with the instinct to survive. It's hardwired into your brain at birth. It's not something you thought of. It's something that was instinctual to survive. And so your parents, they are the people that you're depending on for your survival. And so you have to gain their approval. And so you do things they approve of, and they give you food and take care of you so you can survive. So you learn very quickly what they approve of and what they don't, and brainwash yourself into doing what they approve of. The values that people take on that are brainwashed are good and bad. And a lot of times when people hear this, there's no good or bad, they immediately bring up something like, well, what about Hitler? What about mass murders? What about all these things? And the important thing is to bring it back to yourself and see what you're doing to yourself on a moment-to-moment basis. It's not just this big thing out there of what about Hitler. It's what are you doing moment-to-moment of judging yourself, of creating this good and bad. And if you'll look, I think you might notice that it's something you're constantly doing. Constantly, moment to moment, you're saying, this is good, that's bad. This is okay, that's not okay. Some of the values people have for bad, greed is bad, drugs are bad, vanity is bad, alcohol drinking is bad, smoking is bad, sex is bad, stealing is bad, harming others is bad, anger is bad, being a victim is bad, gambling is bad, being sick is bad, poverty is bad, being mean is bad. Some of them for good is honesty is good, being healthy is good, being happy is good, being loving is good, having self-esteem is good, being considerate is good, being friendly is good, being powerful is good. So these are things that we have taken on board from the society we live in to actually believe. And for example, gambling, when I was a kid, gambling was bad. It was considered a loser, something for losers. You know, it meant you're being a victim of usually the mobsters or mafia, because it's a losing proposition. They end up with all the money. if you know mathematics. It was considered a bad thing by society in general.
So what would you say to people who say, well, yes, gambling is bad. I mean, my husband goes out gambles, or wife, not to be discrimination on men, but my husband, wife, whatever, goes out and gambles all our money, we have no food. So how can you say, well, then it's good, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, all those things, like all the things like drugs, smoking, sex, lying, anger, being a victim, being sick, not having money, it's very easy to say there's an absolute judgment that all those things are bad, but it's not so much that they're bad in themselves. It's that society has given you those value judgments on those things. Like we were saying before, killing is considered to be something very bad, maybe the worst bad, and yet if you put on a uniform and
fight for your country,
it's considered very good. So I suppose you could say the same thing with gambling. It's considered very bad, yet also if you came home with big winnings and were able to take care of your family better, that might be considered good. Nowadays, for example, in America, since the government has gotten into gambling with the lottery and all that, there's constant barrage of advertisements saying gambling is good. Somebody has to win. Go out and buy a lottery ticket. Gambling is good. So